Alright, how do you know your knife is dull? Well, hopefully this is an obvious one, because while you're using it, you might notice that whatever it is that you're trying to do isn't quite as easy as it was previously. So that's the first clue. But there's also several other ways to check. There's the old famous one where you pull up your sleeve and you shave hair off your arm. I generally don't like to use that one just because it's very subjective, and in my opinion, what is a dull knife will still shave hair, and it's not really a good measure. Plus, after a while, you end up looking, you have all these bald patches, and you look like you got some kind of disease or something. So one easy method that I like to use is using my thumbnail. And your thumb is a smooth surface, so if your knife is not sharp, when it goes to, you put a little bit of pressure there, and you go to touch, if it's sharp, it'll grab and it won't want to move. If it's dull, it'll just slide right off it. And you take a very aggressive angle like this here. See if I can show that. You take an angle that's more aggressive there, it's going to stick easier. The more you lay that knife down to your thumb and get that angle real low, if it continues to stick, that tells you that it's real sharp. See how low that is? It's still sticking. So that's very sharp. And that's kind of my measure there, is keep laying it down until it starts to slide, and that gives you a good indication. The other reason that's a good method is because you might use a certain section of your knife all the time. You might be using this tip, and it'll let you check the length of the blade. You can start here and see if it grabs and keep moving on down, and give you an idea if the whole thing's sharp or not. Now, another way to do that is if you had a light source that would be off at front direction to you. It could be the sun, it could be a lamp or a window. If you look at that light source and you kind of eyeball this against that light, if you've got a dull spot or a roll, it'll reflect light and let you know that there's something wrong with that particular part of the edge. And you find that in a lot of cases that your knife will generally be sharp, but you'll have one spot that is small and rolled. Another good way that I like to test this is just with a piece of paper. Now, this knife doesn't happen to be a convex grind. I'll show you this later with a convex grind. But right now I need some dull knives to actually do some sharpening on, so I grabbed this one because I know it's nice and real sharp for me. Alright, what I'm going to do is, push cutting paper is a very easy thing to do. It doesn't take that's not really the true measure here, but what I usually go for is try to make some real small curls here. And you see, the smaller I can make that curl, you see how some of these are ridiculously small. See, like that last one there that I did, how little, I don't even know if you can see that, how little that is. I mean, that's when you know your knife is real sharp, when you start over here. Get that out of the way, clean it up. Let's try that again. A little bit finer than that. There we go, I had a real small one in there. But you get the idea. That's kind of the way I like my knives to be, and that's one of the ways that I check them.